Good morning, Alex and friends. I'm Grace. Today is Monday, February 17th, 2025, and you're listening to Alex's News. The weather in Riverside will be mild today, with a high of 71.6 degrees and a low of 51.2 degrees Fahrenheit. Coming up on today's show, we'll examine the national security implications of the recent dismissals in Trump's nuclear program. We'll also look at the unprecedented nature of this winter's polar vortex and what's making it break historical records. Plus, we'll analyze why Germany, long considered Europe's economic engine, is experiencing a significant slowdown. These stories and more coming up on Alex's News. Our top story this morning focuses on a major policy reversal within the Trump administration regarding the nation's nuclear weapons program. Joining us now with more details is our Washington correspondent, Ethan Parker. Ethan, walk us through what's happening with these federal employees.
Grace, this is a significant development that has sent shockwaves through the nuclear security sector. According to Associated Press reporting, the Trump administration has just halted the controversial firing of approximately 350 federal employees who work with our nation's nuclear weapons programs at the National Nuclear Security Administration, or NNSA.
What prompted these initial firings, and who was behind them?
The firings were part of a broader cost-cutting initiative led by what's called the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. Now, it's important to note that this isn't a cabinet-level department. ABC News has revealed that it's actually run by Elon Musk, who serves as a special government employee.
And what kind of impact did these firings have on our nuclear facilities?
The impact was particularly severe at the Pantex plant in Texas. According to ABC News reporting, about 30% of the workforce there was terminated. To put this in perspective, Grace, these are the people responsible for reassembling nuclear warheads. The cuts were threatening to derail a massive $750 billion nuclear weapons modernization program.
I understand there's been some significant pushback. What's been the response from officials?
That's right. NNSA Acting Director Teresa Robbins has now issued a memo rescinding almost all of the firings. All but 28 staff members will keep their jobs. The Associated Press reports that lawmakers, including Representative Marcy Kaptur and Senator Patty Murray, were particularly vocal, describing these moves as utterly callous and dangerous.
There seems to be some discrepancy about who exactly was affected. What can you tell us about that?
Yes, that's a crucial point. While the Department of Energy claimed that fewer than 50 probationary employees in administrative roles were affected, multiple officials have contradicted this. They've indicated that many of the terminated employees were actually involved in critical nuclear issues and radioactive waste management.
And what are security experts saying about all this?
Security experts are raising serious concerns. Daryl Kimball from the Arms Control Association and Edwin Lyman of the Union of Concerned Scientists have warned that this kind of disruption could potentially benefit U.S. adversaries. One senior NNSA staffer, Rob Polonsky, has publicly warned about the risks of undermining these crucial security systems.
Thank you, Ethan, for that comprehensive report. We'll continue to follow this developing story throughout the morning. We turn now to our second story of the morning, where a dangerous polar vortex is gripping much of the United States. Joining us to discuss this severe weather situation is our weather reporter, Chloe Thompson. Chloe, this is quite an unusual situation we're facing, isn't it?
That's right, Grace. According to ABC News, we're experiencing our 10th polar vortex event of the 2024-2025 winter season, which is extraordinary when you consider we typically only see 2 to 3 such events in an entire winter.
Can you explain what makes this particular system so dangerous?
The National Weather Service has issued what they're calling life-threatening cold warnings across the Rockies and northern plains. In northeastern Montana, we're looking at temperatures dropping to minus 45 degrees Fahrenheit, and when you factor in the wind chill, it feels like minus 60. To put that in perspective, at these temperatures, frostbite can occur on exposed skin in less than 5 minutes.
And I understand this isn't just affecting Montana?
No, it's much more widespread. The Japan News is reporting that North Dakota, South Dakota, and Minnesota are all under extreme cold warnings, with wind chills approaching -50 degrees. This comes on the heels of devastating flooding in the eastern United States, where Kentucky has been particularly hard hit.
Yes, tell us about the situation in Kentucky.
According to DAR News, Governor Andy Beshear has confirmed 9 weather-related deaths, and over 1,000 people have needed rescue from floodwaters. The situation became so dire that President Trump approved a disaster declaration, bringing in FEMA to coordinate relief efforts.
We're also hearing about impacts across other states?
That's correct. We're seeing a cascade of severe weather events: an EF1 tornado in Alabama's Hale County, a levee failure in Reeves, Tennessee, and 1 death in Atlanta due to a fallen tree. Michigan is dealing with multiple vehicle crashes, while Virginia and West Virginia are experiencing widespread power outages and road closures. The Rocky Mountains are under avalanche warnings.
Chloe, there's an interesting climate angle to this story, isn't it?
Yes, Grace. Climate scientists are noting something rather paradoxical. While we're experiencing these extreme cold events, they may actually be linked to climate change. Research suggests that Arctic warming and sea ice loss could be making these polar vortex disruptions more frequent, though scientists are still studying this relationship. It's a complex interaction that shows how global warming can lead to extreme cold events, even as Earth's average temperature continues to break records.
Thank you for that comprehensive report, Chloe. Stay warm out there. Here are some other headlines. In a significant development, Ukraine has declined a U.S. proposal seeking access to its critical minerals. President Zelensky instructed his ministers not to sign the agreement, stating it failed to provide adequate security guarantees against Russian aggression. A senior White House official called the decision short-sighted, noting the potential economic benefits for both nations. The Trump administration has appealed to the Supreme Court to allow the firing of Hampton Dellinger, head of the Office of Special Counsel. Dellinger, who was appointed by President Biden to a 5-year term, was temporarily reinstated by a court order set to expire February 26. The administration argues that no court should force a president to retain an agency head against their will. An American citizen detained in Moscow on drug smuggling charges has been released ahead of scheduled Russia-US talks. This development follows a pattern of similar cases, including the high-profile detentions of Brittany Griner and Mark Fogel, who were later freed in prisoner swaps. Israel has announced plans to expand settlements in the West Bank, with tenders issued for nearly 1,000 new housing units in the Efrat settlement. This comes as the region marks 500 days of conflict. The expansion is expected to increase Efrat's population by 40% and will impact the development of neighboring Palestinian communities. And in political analysis, the phrase waste, fraud, and abuse continues to shape American political discourse, as it has since the nation's founding. From Andrew Jackson's criticism of the Second National Bank to Ronald Reagan's formation of the Grace Commission, this debate remains central to discussions about government spending and efficiency. These developments underscore ongoing global tensions and domestic political challenges as nations navigate complex diplomatic relationships and internal policy debates. Our third story tonight focuses on Germany's economic struggles. Joining us now is our European economics correspondent, Ethan Parker. Ethan, Germany was once considered Europe's economic powerhouse. What's changed?
That's right, Grace. According to multiple sources, including the Associated Press and ABC News, Germany has hit a remarkable low point, showing virtually no growth since late 2019. The forecasts for 2025 are particularly concerning, with projected GDP growth between just 0.0% and 0.4%.
What are the main factors driving this economic downturn?
There are 5 major challenges, Grace. First, the energy crisis stemming from Russia cutting off natural gas supplies after the Ukraine invasion has hit hard, while Germany has adapted by leasing 4 specialized floating gas terminals, what we call FSRUs. German industries are still paying much more for energy than their competitors in the US and China.
And I understand China itself has become a significant challenge?
Exactly. According to recent economic analysis from Perplexity, China has transformed from being a key market for German products to becoming a major competitor. They're now outperforming Germany in crucial sectors like solar panels, steel, and even automobiles, which has historically been Germany's industrial crown jewel.
What about domestic issues? Are there internal factors at play?
Yes, there are several. WVNS-TV reports that years of underinvestment in infrastructure have led to significant problems with railways and internet connectivity. But perhaps more concerning is the labor market situation. Unemployment has risen to 6.2% as of January 2025, yet paradoxically, there's a severe shortage of skilled workers.
That seems contradictory. Can you explain that further?
It's quite interesting, Grace. About 37% of German companies are considering either cutting production or moving operations abroad. That number jumps to 45% for energy-intensive industries. They're struggling to find workers in key sectors like INT and healthcare, while simultaneously dealing with job losses in other areas.
And what about Germany's famous efficiency? Has that been affected?
Ironically, yes. The country is grappling with excessive bureaucracy. Everything from complex solar panel installation regulations to outdated record-keeping requirements. These bureaucratic hurdles are significantly slowing down business operations and economic growth.
Looking at the numbers, how severe is this decline?
The data is concerning. Germany saw negative growth of -0.30% in 2023 and -0.20% in 2024. With federal elections coming up later this year, there's additional uncertainty about how the country will address these challenges, particularly given their constitutional limitations on public borrowing.
Thank you, Ethan, for that comprehensive overview of Germany's economic situation. That's all we have for now. Today's episode was made by Alexandra King with Claude Sonnet 3.5, Gemini Flash 2.0, the Perplexity API, and the Google Cloud Text-to-Speech API. Hope you have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow, Alex.